if you have a dog with long fluffy ears, it is a really good idea to make sure you are grooming their fur under their ears every single day to avoid knots and tangles in their ears. That is one of the top places the dogs are going to get those knots in their fur because their ears are constantly rubbing against their bodies. If they're playing with other dogs, they're usually up in their neck, up in their ear, they're playing with different things, and it leads to a lot of friction, a lot of movement of that fur, which also then leads to a lot of tangling. So if you have a comb or a brush, and just once a day as part of your morning routine, or even better yet, as part of your evening routine before they go to bed, you can just go in and just comb out that fur. That's going to eliminate a lot of those tangles and prevent you from having to then cut out giant chunks of their fur because it got so matted under their ears. This is something I've experienced with my English Springer Spaniels for many, many, many years. And when I take the time just to groom it out, it prevents a lot of those mats. And if I take a few days off and I'm not doing it, then I find that there are usually some mats under their ears that I then have to deal with. And my dogs do not like that, let me tell you. And I don't like having to do it either. It makes me nervous having to cut out some of those mats, and they don't want me to be doing that. So if you can stay on top of it every day, if you can just go in and brush it, or even every other day if you have to, that's going to save you a lot of time and a lot of effort. So when you do this, there are a lot of different brushes, there are a lot of different things that you can be doing, but I find it's just as easy to go and get a normal human comb and just kind of brush through the underside of their ears. And while you're at it, do the tops of their ears as well. If they've got actual fur on their ears, if it's curly like my Springers, you want to make sure you're just kind of brushing through that so that it doesn't get tangled, it doesn't get knotted. And this is also really helpful for ear maintenance because then you can get anything that gets caught at the bottom of their ears out of there. Sometimes my dog's ears are a little bit long and they will go into their food or into their water, and then they will pick up particles or they'll get a little bit knotted. And so if I'm every day just brushing out under their ears and the tops of their ears, that means they're going to stay healthy. They are not going to have debris in their ears. They're not going to be chewing on those ears. It's not going to lead to ear problems. And you don't have those knots. It's a lot easier to then pet your dog. It's much more silky when you're petting your dog. And it's just all around better for you and your pup. And it's a nice little bonding experience because if you can just quietly sit and groom your dog, which I try to do very often with my girls, I will brush out their ears every night, but I'll try to, kind of brush through the rest of their bodies just because we're sitting on the couch and I'll have a comb there. I'll just kind of brush through it. Outside of our normal grooming schedules, this is going to allow some really nice bonding time. We can cuddle, we can hang out. Brushing is very calming for them most of the time, for most dogs. And so you're going to be able to keep them healthy. You're going to have to deal with less trauma and drama when you are grooming them for real, or your groomer is going to have to deal with a lot less. It's just more simple for everybody, and it's healthier for everybody, but it's also kind of nice. It's kind of fun, and it's calming for us. If our dogs are just sitting there and we can just kind of repetitively brush them, it's just a nice calming little bonding experience for us. So I highly recommend brushing under and over your dog's ears every single day as part of your bedtime routine or sometime throughout the course of the day, just because in the long run, it makes everybody's life so much easier. And the more you're manipulating their ears, the less you're going to have to struggle with them if you have to put in eardrops, or if your vet has to look in their ears, or if your groomer is working on them, or if you have to groom them because they're so used to being touched that way anyway. So there's only benefits to this. It's very, very helpful if you can implement it in your schedule. I cannot speak strongly enough of how helpful this is. Drop your questions on this down below and let me know if you have a dog with longer ears, how are you taking care of those ears in terms of the mats, in terms of grooming, in terms of internal ear care, in terms of their eating. Let me know your suggestions down below. Drop your questions and we'll see you in tomorrow's daily episode, helping you navigate the world of being a dog parent so you can level up for your pup and give them the best life possible.